back in New York. WPH Race for 8 as we are live here with Nadi Alvarado going up against Paul Brady, men's semifinals of the upper bracket. And you're watching here on ESPN and the Watch ESPN app. My name is Dave Vincent. We have more handball action today than I think any other Saturday on ESPN, and we want to thank them for extending our broadcast window to 8 p.m. Eastern Time. For those watching across the country on your smart device, your Google TVs and Amazon Fires, your Xbox 360s or Xbox One, I want to thank you for tuning in and watching this feed as Paul Brady and Nadi Alvarado now making their way here to the show court to get that presentation from our referee, who I believe is Abraham Montijo, as we welcome in Dave Fink. Dave, there is a little bit of a buzz going on with Andy Nett taking down Sean Lenning. And I guess I'd say just rightly so. But here, though, how is the 41-year-old?
Well, Dave, you seem to be pretty focused on his age, but the guy is just an incredible specimen. I mean, he's fitter than most of the 20-somethings in our draw.
Yeah, but I'm saying, how is the 41-year-old going to try to neutralize Brady?
Maybe we could just talk about him as the 3-time Players Championship invite. The former #1 pro. The
All right, we're about to
four-time
begin
Race for
the
8
last semifinal
finalist.
of the day. Serving first from County Cavan, Ireland, welcome Paul Brady. And returning serve from Spring Valley, California, Nadi Alvarado.
Not to be a stickler, but that's Spring
You guys
Valley
will have
Lake,
two linesmen,
No, you're definitely
John
not a
Angie,
stickler.
Luis Cordova.
California.
You guys get
I'm
one
very
video
concerned
replay
about the
per game.
exact location of where people live.
Well,
You know, normally when you watch
Serving
international
0.
sports, they say, well, they're from the United States, or maybe they'll say they're from California. But you actually want the exact county, district, suburb, everything but the home
I was more
address.
I'm more into, I used to be really obsessed with voting districts, but I
Okay.
condensed it down to the actual name of the city. I thought
1-0.
maybe people would like to know. Oh, that was like almost a screen serve, but Nadi's not going to take that. He wants the big back wall setup, gets the side out on a flat kill, and now
0-1.
Alvarado, who was very inspired in San Francisco, texting the broadcast booth during the finals between Paul Brady and Emmett Pachot. Nadi says, you know, just watching this match has inspired me. I'm coming out to New York, and I'm going to play in the top 8 since I still have the ranking. I didn't really get why or what he saw that made him want to do this, but he said to you he wanted to play Paul Brady. Maybe this isn't the same Nadi. This could be a twin brother or something.
Side out.
Paul hits the first 3-wall shot. I think he's hit all tournament. And it's just perfect. I mean, runs parallel to the back wall, and now he has no swing.
1-0.
So in case you didn't know he had that shot, Dave, he does.
Well, he has them all.
Point.
Need to make those against Paul, Dave, even though it's kind of an awkward short hop kill shot attempt. It's the kind of shot that you
2-0.
need to make. And that time, Paul Brady is fooled in the backcourt. And Dave, you're right. Nadi looks a lot sleeker,
0-2.
a lot leaner, and more toned
Yeah, it just
than
seemed
we've
like
seen
he
him in the last year.
Looked like he lost weight, but
Oh, I saw a slide.
and with that, his legs look really.
Two serves.
I said
0-2.
spry earlier. I guess I can stick with that.
0-2. Short. Second. Side out.
and you see players with a tendency to just kind of
2-0.
rush shots, maybe go for a kill shot, one shot too early when they play Paul Brady. And really for good reason, Dave, because you want to try and shoot the ball against Paul when he's hanging a little bit farther back, because once he gets in that front court, it's almost impossible to hit a shot that he can't retrieve.
Point.
Dave, I don't love what I'm seeing right now from Nadi Alvarado's spry legs. They look a little bit heavy early in this
3-0.
match.
I think they should look heavy.
Short.
Just played the quarterfinal
Second.
about 3 hours ago.
Dave, we saw Paul Brady doing some unbelievable dynamic warm-ups.
I was in awe, and I hope somebody caught that on camera. I know Marcos Chavez has been taking sort of camera shots of people that you really probably don't want to see.
You know, it's interesting, Dave, because Paul Brady's very secretive about his warm-ups and his practice.
Right.
But here at this facility, there's only 3 courts, and there's nowhere else to warm up except for in our broadcast booth, which is in a doubles squash court, which is about 1.5 times the size of a handball court if you've never seen one. So Paul Brady's been in our broadcast court on the other side of it, and he's been doing these side-to-side, I guess you'd call them side steps with a rubber band around the outside of his ankles. And, I mean, he's really moving with them. And then he's doing some unbelievable flexibility training. I mean, you know, so Paul's the kind of guy, like most handball players, you say, well, what do you do to train? Well, you know, I work out, I get my training in.
Timeout, Nadi, that's your first.
And you want to know what is that training. And we got to see just a bit of it. And I know, Dave, and I'm going on about this, but now we're at a timeout. But I know that there's a lot more than what we just saw. We only saw 5 or 10 minutes worth, and he's probably putting in 3 to 4 hours a day, probably 6 days a week of that kind of training. So there's a lot more of that kind of stuff that we've never seen before.
Right.
I know, Dave, when you get ready to play, you do a couple arm circles and, you know, maybe drink a Pepsi. But
what?
No.
I don't drink cola.
No, you don't. Very health conscious.
Straight.
Yeah.
No, I've thought this for years. I've interviewed Paul for a long time and asked him, what he does when he gets prepared, and he always gives you that kind of prepared answer for that. And you still want to dig deep and peel the onion and try to figure out what it is, but you'll never know what it is. We got to see something today.
I'd say just about
I've never seen before in my life.
Half a slice of the Paul Brady training pie is what we saw.
I don't even know if it's a half. I think it's it's like 10%. We just saw something that he does, and what he does is remarkable, because now you can see why his legs are so strong. Back into the service box here, though.
And it really, all of it was aimed at what I think is his greatest strength, which is his side-to-side movement.
Point. 6-0. Okay. 6-0.
Not really the rule.
Point. 7-0. Point.
And Dave, of course, Paul Brady's going to play like Paul Brady, but Nadi has not looked anything like we saw him look in the first 2 rounds. Even on that swing there, Dave.
Yeah, but he can't get into the service box. What do you expect?
Well, I just don't see him able to make those.
Hold it, replay that.
Nadi lifted just a little bit.
Those little adjustment steps to get himself in a position to hit the ball hard and hit the ball like we were used to seeing Nadi Jr. hit the ball.
We have 8-0. Short. Second.
Wow.
That was a nice shot. That was what we saw earlier.
Zero, serving 8.
That ball broke finally.
Just side out.
Well, maybe it didn't. Sounded like it did.
8-0.
Dave, can you believe that ball You heard it smack like that.
Oh, I thought
Short.
for sure it was broken. I looked down
The
as
appeals, I
I
call it
was
short.
looking to do some
One
Facebooking on
agree,
a
one
break
disagree.
while a new ball was
Second
being
serve.
warmed up.
That was loud. Must have been maybe an air pocket in the front wall or something, but
Point.
look at Paul now, 9-0.
9-0. Oh, whoa, whoa. Side go. Nine zero.
Terrible shot from Nadi.
Point.
And Dave, Paul hit that backhanded flip that went up to nearly the top of the front wall and then came down so slow, but yet bouncing so high. It's such a hard shot to put away,
10-0.
don't you think?
Yeah, no.
It's almost like the E Ft
Short.
pitch in baseball. You know, you're used to seeing the ball coming at you 85 or 90 miles per
Second.
hour, and then all of a sudden,
Yeah, here comes that little lofty 50-mile-per-hour one.
yeah.
Look how Paul's able to dig that ball from.
Hold it. We can do it again.
So right now, Dave, Nadi's not getting out of his own way and giving himself enough space to swing. He's just kind of jamming himself.
10 serving 0.
Wow, Paul hits that ball hard. Did Nadi get that ball on one?
He did.
Side out. Zero 10.
It's getting late in the day for one of the Daves. Boy, Nadi just gets busted
Side
by
out.
that hop into the right wall.
Ten zero.
Oh, nice shot there.
Yeah.
Side out.
You know, Dave, a lot of people ask me, you know, who's the #1 player in handball, people that don't really know handball. And I say, well, Paul Brady, he's
0-10.
from Ireland. And they say, what, you know, I say he's lost 2 matches in 11 years. And they say, what makes him so good? You know, and it's really kind of hard to describe. The only way I can say it is he's got more power, a better serve, better movement,
Point.
better fitness, and more focus than any other player. I mean, I don't know what more you can really say, but that's really the answer.
Yeah.
110.
I mean, it's a man amongst boys type situation.
Short.
I agree.
Second.
Nice shot there.
Point.
Alvarado gets another point. He looked good in that rally, Dave.
And this is what Paul did in his last match against Mondo Ortiz, raced to a 9-1 lead. And from
2
there,
serving 10.
it's really impossible to come back. Paul Brady was going to spot you
Short.
a 7-point lead. You still probably couldn't win. If you spot him one, you're definitely not going to
Second.
win.
Side out.
Goes to the Irish whip reverse hop pass.
I just don't know how Paul, over the years, has been able to perfect those shots. You can't do it in practice, I don't think. I mean, you can do it with
10-2.
against an opponent in practice. You
Yeah.
can't do that by yourself in a court by hitting
Short.
shots without actually sparring with somebody. I think.
I
Paul-
think
Second.
when you're so talented, you can just see a shot and just sort of do
Say
it.
it one more time.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of these great athletes, you just have to show it to them once,
reasonable
and
amount
it's
of time
theirs.
to-
They own it. You know, Dave,
Maximum
I
10
watched the
seconds.
30
As
for
long as
30
it's
on Bo
reasonable,
Jackson, and
okay?
his coach in baseball was saying, you know, he would just tell Bo one thing that would take major leaguers a year, 2 years to master, and he would master it that day.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's kind of how Paul develops these shots.
Abraham could give Nadi a technical here.
10-2.
Nadi thinks that Abraham has to let him get into the set position with the way he calls himself a set, and that's not the rule.
No, it's not.
I think a lot of people have kind of over the years made that their unofficial official rule of saying, well, this is what I do to get set, so this is what you're going to have to do as a referee to follow my cadence. The referee says, I've given you a reasonable amount of time. It's been 10 seconds.
It doesn't have to be 10 seconds.
No, you're right. It's even though it has already been 10, I've given you a reasonable amount of time. I don't care if you're putting your hands on your knees or whatever your cadence is. I'm just calling it, and that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And then he says 10-2 before Nadi goes down into a stance, and Nadi turns around and says, I'm not ready yet. It doesn't matter. I'm calling the score. I think it's really just Nadi's frustrated here.
Well, this is a kind of a thing that Nadi has always had, where he likes to be in a certain position and take his time doing it. And that's not the rule, though.
No.
If you read the rules carefully, you would know, and that was part of the email package that was sent to the players. That rule specifically was highlighted.
Short.
It's all about learning.
Second.
And I've learned never to email ever again. Face-to-face meetings with a guy
also don't work. People get very offended when you try and tell them something to their face. I don't know why. It's like you're insulting them.
Boy, Paul hits that hard. Nadi just not long enough.
We have a 30-second timeout. The score is 13-2.
But Dave, it's what we talked about. These guys will literally, for a 9th place first round playoff match, play as hard and expend as much energy as they possibly can, more so than any pro athlete I've ever seen in my life, even in a Super Bowl or a Grand Slam tennis final, yet they won't bother to read the rule book before they come to an event.
Well, that's a lot of reading, a lot of boring reading too.
Chris.
But you would think throughout the years, Dave, you just sort of learn these things as you go, and then all of a sudden an organization comes along, starts changing things. I don't think it's as easy as it may seem. What used to be natural is now you're having to think, and you know, it might be a little bit harder than it seems. Looks like John Iglesias defeated Colin Crehan. Now he will be in the 5th place final.
That's a rematch of last year's 5th place final between Emmett and John Iglesias.
That score just being
13.
sent in to us. Paul took the play.
Yeah, I
and
think it did. Yeah, we're going to do it again.
Tough.
Yes.
I don't know. Paul actually shot that ball and pointed back.
I don't think he was very committed to that shot. That's the kind where you actually, the referee can't see that. He's staying directly
13.
above it.
Okay.
Paul digs that out.
Oh, slid.
They all saw it. Everybody agrees. Game number 1 here has Alvarado at 2, Brady at 13.
Replay 2-13. Point.
Alvarado scoring his 3rd point here.
3-13. Side out. Side out. We have 13-3. Short. Second.
That's a
Side
nice
out.
return of serve there from Nadia Alvarado. Flat kill left corner.
3-13.
Wow,
Side
that's
out.
a laser for Paul Brady.
13 serving 3.
Amazing shot from
Point.
Paul. You think he's on defense there.
Game point serving 3. And that is first game.
And that first game going to Paul Brady here, 15-3, taking down Alvarado. Dave.
Well, there's not much you can say about that first game, Dave. It was Nadi who looked out of sorts. Paul Brady did what he always does, which is blast balls, kill balls, make great gets, and Nadi just, even when he had opportunities, looked a little bit off balance. Didn't look he was able to get his feet set, and a lot of that has to do with Paul Brady's power and hop on the ball, but some of it, I think, has to do with 2 matches under his belt. But, you know, this is what Paul Brady does. He makes great players look ordinary. We've seen him do it time and time again. I mean, we saw Sean Lenning, Dave, playing some of the best handball we've ever seen in Houston. He runs into Paul Brady in the finals, and it was as though, you know, he was just any other guy.
Right.
And you can't just say, well, you know, Sean was tired, because you don't go from being one of the most spectacular shot makers to just any other guy overnight. In fact, he should probably be just about the same. His second match that day, he was spectacular.
Well, you have to put that on. You have to put that on Andy Nett, obviously playing
Well,
good.
I was talking more about Paul Brady
Right.
effect.
Yeah. Let's go to Kara Mack, who's courtside right now. Kara?
Hey guys, I'm with Danny Bell, and you have seen these two players take on each other numerous times. What are you noticing about this match and tonight?
Well, it's like every other match. Paul Brady's dominating again. I mean, he's so strong, so tough. I mean, Natty's playing, he's not playing bad, but Paul is just too strong.
I don't want to sell you out here, but he is going to take the credit, because back in 2005, you were the person who gave, I'm just going to say that you gave Paul Brady his first championship
You can
title,
say
right?
that. I gave him the championship, I guess.
And ever since then, he's just exploded.
Yeah, it was back in 2005 when he beat me. I guess that's the year where he really took off, and ever since he's been unbeatable.
What do you notice about him back then that's held on to now?
Well, he's about the same guy. I mean, he's strong, he's focused, he doesn't make a lot of hand errors. That's the key, no hand errors, and his serve is, I think his serve is better now than it was 10 years ago.
Say he does go on to win tonight. What is it going to take for Andy Nett to be able to beat him tomorrow?
I don't know. I mean, it's going to be tough. Andy's playing really good this weekend, though, so we never know what can happen. But Paul is a strong dude. He's the best. I mean, if you don't want to play power with Paul Brady. If you want to do something different, go to the ceiling or something. But I don't think that's Andy Nett's game. Andy likes to go for the bottom board just like Paul, and Paul is the best at it.
And watching this right now, any advice that you would have for not going into this?
I mean, Natty, he had a slow start. Natty has to serve his first serve over the line. He made too many short serves so far, but Natty has a great serve. So if he can get on his serve and get Paul a little bit nervous, get a little lead, he might have a chance.
Is it kind of fun to watch, though, these two guys come back together to play over and over again? Because there's a lot of new up-and-comers coming to take on these guys, but to see that they're still staying solid.
Oh yeah, I'm happy for Natty Jr. You know, at the age he is now, like 42, 43 or something, playing at this level, it makes me proud because I was playing good at that time, and Paul is keep playing really good, and Natty hanging in there. It's nice to see. It's really nice to see.
Great, thanks, Danny. Back to you guys.
These guys back in. Thank you, Kara. Yeah, you know, it is true. Kind of
Okay, this
Danny
game
Bell was
2.
sort of the
Nadi
trailblazer
will
in a way
serve first.
of those guys that were playing in good ball, mid-40s and beyond.
Yeah, Danny Bell
0.
spawned,
Serving
I think,
0.
the next generation of 40-somethings, making the national final in his 40s. And Danny said that now he need to get his serve over the line, but he doesn't want to get it 10 feet
Point.
over the line like that serve. But he gets away with it and wins the first rally, which
The noise. Guys, and the crowd, please keep it a little bit lower. Thank you.
Paul Brady upset with the noise from
1.
the crowd.
Play
Dave.
0.
I thought he was deaf after listening to those earphones at a
Seems like it wouldn't be loud
Deafening.
enough for Paul.
yeah.
Needs to be
Point.
louder. There's another point now for Alvarado.
And Dave, we saw this in the semifinals in San Francisco.
2-0.
Paul Brady winning the first game comfortably 15-2. Then he fell behind 9-2 in the second game.
That was a terrible overhit, but look where the ball lands on the sidewall.
Of course, he ended up winning that game, but
Point.
this may be the time.
That was 3 brilliant points here from Nadi
3-0.
Alvarado. Hitting the ball just like he did in the early rounds. Oh, and he
Short ball.
almost got that crack.
Keo, I called it short. They both agree.
Nadi will not
Second
use
serve.
his video challenge. I think he knows that was short. Nadi looks like a different guy right now, David. I'm not just saying that because he scored
Slide
the
out.
first 3 points. He's moving his feet a lot better right now. He's lighter on his feet. And he's, because of that, able to dictate play, which is a very difficult thing to do against Paul Brady.
Okay. Score is 0. Serving 3.
0-3. See what Paul does to counter.
Short.
This will be appealed.
Yeah.
Keo called it short. 1 agree, 1 disagree.
Let's take a quick look at that last serve, Dave. They're not going to go to instant replay there, but I thought that was good in live, real time.
Real time to me looked like it hit the line and maybe on the good side of the line. Hard to tell from that angle. Let's see, it looks short there.
Second serve.
Can't
Well,
really tell. Second serve. The first look looked short. Wow, Nadi just losing his
The
feet.
side out.
and that was just a strange rally from both guys. Nadi taking the ball that I thought he'd let go to the back wall, and I think it surprised Paul.
3.
Yeah,
Serving
Paul looked
0.
like he thought that Nadi was too close to him and kind of took a half swing. Looked back and saw Nadi was about 3 feet behind him. Nice shot from
Yeah.
Nadi again. We
Point.
saw that earlier today. We saw that yesterday, that exact same over-the-top left-handed kill, and now Nadi up 4-0.
And Dave, this is where I think a 15-point
4-0.
game really benefits Nadi Alvarado, because he doesn't have to sustain this all the way to 21. He can put together 2 or 3 hot streaks at, 4 or 5 points at a time and force a tiebreaker.
Now
Point.
5-0.
And Dave, Paul Brady, I wouldn't say looks flustered, but he's now
5-0.
having to deal with a deficit and a guy who is very comfortable in the server's box.
Yeah.
Not many can say they've been comfortable in the server's box against Paul.
That was not a good serve there. Nadi might hit the front wall. Does. Paul's going to go to the right. Powers it. Nadi could have gotten his
Yeah.
hand on that. I think he went for a punch fist. If he would have just opened his hand, he
Yeah.
might have flipped it back.
Well, Nadi anticipated that perfectly, and Paul did not hit a great shot there. He didn't slide the wall, and Nadi had a good play on it. Not
0-5.
sure what happened there.
Would this be a time before that serve just to call that 30-second timeout from Nadi?
Well, I think you know what I think about
Point.
timeouts. I would use them only if I were Nadi, if completely exhausted, and you really just need to catch your breath.
All right, we're going to get a headband.
But why call a timeout when you can do the headband and whatnot,
Not having to dig there to try to find that headband now. You know, wearing those lenses that have no hole in them, like those Oakley eye guards or eyewear that he wears.
Okay, the score is
if you're not wearing a headband,
175.
it just goes, you can't see. It's like trying to drive in the rain without windshield wipers.
Plus they
Short.
get foggy.
Yeah,
Deal
just,
on the short.
and that's the type
Both
that he
agree.
wears because the open lenses, he has that tear duct issue
Second serve.
where the air coming in will actually make it so he can't see that way either. So. Like Nadi knew exactly where Paul was going to hit that. Who's going to strike first here and hit that kill shot? Oh, look at that. I love that shot from Nadi. I've seen it throughout the years. I can't hit it myself, but he just takes a little off of it. Ball stays up front. Love that corner kill. Nadi, there he was. Looked kind of fooled there.
I've never seen Paul fall back there and hit the ball to the ceiling. Normally he goes through all with that shot.
Revolving door. No, Nadi takes it with his left. Nadi's a striker.
Skip.
That's a skip in.
Paul
Alvarado,
had exactly the shot he wanted there.
Six one.
Huh. 7-1 now.
Point.
Paul very conservative on that return of serve. That was a setup for Paul normally, but he tries to jam Nadi with a 2-all return, and Nadi just knows how to play that perfectly. Lets the ball come across his body
7-1.
and feathers it into the right corner.
Skip.
Oh, that ball skipped in. Nadi's going to
Side
appeal
out.
this, I believe.
Nadi's just playing so well. It's hard to nitpick, Dave, but that's would have been a huge shot. An 8-1 lead and serving against Paul Brady. I mean, 7-1 is also great, of course, but just don't see Nadi miss too many of those.
Yeah, this because Paul Brady, he has found ways to score points in bunches too, though. Obviously here, not in game number 2.
We have one serving 7.
Looked like it skipped from even
Yeah,
in
it
slow
was a
motion.
skip.
Yeah.
Nadi's not arguing that. If this match reminds me of the 2006 national final that these two played, where Nadi was just looked like he had nothing in game 1, lost 21-2. Then game 2 was just a great battle.
Point.
Paul Brady ended up winning that 21-18. That was one of the first webcast matches I ever watched. And we've seen that from Nadi in the past, sort of late in tournaments, almost taking the first game off and letting himself get warmed up.
2-7. Short. Second. Side out.
Interesting.
Yeah.
This is where a little bit of that fatigue and those crazy leg exercises from Paul, you would have to think, kind of play a part.
7, serving 2.
I mean, Paul came over here after doing those exercises, and he was just out of breath. I mean, he was getting a workout. Complete different Paul Brady from the last year's tournament where he was just,
Side out.
remember,
Yeah.
he was gassed in his semis and final
Continue,
match.
Nadi.
Well, you have to remember that Paul Brady had only played handball 3 times in 7 months coming into last year's New York tournament. He had only worked out for 2 weeks leading up to that tournament.
2-7.
And that was the time you could beat Paul Brady.
Short.
And for whatever reason, Dave, guys just didn't maybe have the self-belief to do it.
Second.
Robbie McCarthy almost beat him.
Nice shot.
So
Nadia
side
Alvarado
out.
gets back into the service box here, 7-2.
Seven two. Side out. Time out,
Nadi's-
Nadi. No, sorry.
Nadi's been stuck on 7, Dave, for 4 straight service innings. He's playing good
2-7.
defense, though, keeping Paul at just 2 points.
Boy, Paul hit that hard. I like that shot from Nadi. Paul flips it back. Has those long arms. Nadi sure making Paul work here. How is Alvarado keeping these rallies going?
Well,
And he
he's-
might just make it there. Paul goes for a kill shot.
Point.
Alvarado almost gets back to the front court. Side to side, both players. Round of applause from the crowd.
Nadi's one of the greatest players in the world, and to be one of the greatest players in the world, Dave, you have to have the court coverage and the speed, and Nadi's got it.
Pretty remarkable rally there between these two.
Time, Nadi?
I mean, Nadi was just
Taking
a
30. Okay.
fraction of an Andy Net
30 seconds.
pre-dive away from
Score is 3-7.
flipping that ball up to the front court, and there's a timeout here at 3-7. Brady serving.
Dave, I don't want to be the guy that keeps harping on Nadi's age because I don't think it's a factor, but he's only 6 years older than Paul Brady. And you have to remember, while Paul Brady's been grinding every 2 or 3 weeks at the stops, flying all the way from Ireland to the United States and playing 4 rounds of handball, Nadi's been letting his body recover, doing his
10 seconds.
training. So he's probably the fresher guy, if not equally fresh
Yeah.
to Paul. And you heard Andy Net after that match. He said, you know, I took the year and just kind of refreshed my body.
That
And
time is in.
I do recall late last year you started seeing some things with
Now
Andy
do you
Net
have two
with the
1-minute
shoulder
timeouts
and the
remaining?
elbow, and you know players do get beat
3-7.
up. And Nadi taking some time off here.
3 serving
Definitely has
7.
revamped him. Yeah, this is the right score.
Guys,
It's the right score. It's 3-7.
terrible shot from Nadi.
Boy, but Nadi had his hand there too and could have got that back.
I think Nadi should just go back and return serve there. Don't dive for a ball that you really have almost no chance to get.
I thought he really did have a chance to get that, and he put his hand like he almost over-jumped it. He should have got that ball back.
Yeah, he probably should have, but the chance of winning the rally from that position and the amount of energy that you're going to have to expend to do it, when you weigh the percentages, I'm not so sure it's worthwhile. You're losing that rally 98% of the time.
Well, he's a fighter.
we have 4-7.
Dave, would you also
Point.
consider Paul Brady a shot maker? Sorry.
I mean,
we're talking about shot makers, Sean Lenning, Nadia Alvarado, but we don't bring up Paul Brady's name.
well, I
It's just
said that
assumed-
Paul
7.
Brady's the best at every shot in the game.
Okay.
So I think that would qualify him as a shot maker. He's the best offense, the best defense, the best offhand, the best serve,
Point.
the best back wall. I don't know if he has the best overhand ceiling game. I've not seen him hit many overhand
I'm assuming
shots.
that if he
6
did it,
serving 7.
Yeah, I think he could go to that methodical style and
Short.
probably do just fine. I don't see him stepping back and floating a lot of balls to the ceiling.
Second serve.
Then again, there aren't any guys on the tour doing that right now. Great shot from
Side
Nadi.
out.
Dave, you remember it's 7-1. Nadi missed that right corner kill with his right hand. Would have made it 8-1.
7
and
play
he's still
6.
stuck on 7. This now his 5th inning, serving with 7.
wow, I thought he had it too.
Slide out.
And Dave, very similar to Paul Brady's semifinal match in San Francisco. Rolls through the first game
6 serving
15-2,
7.
gets down 9-2 to start the second game, then runs that game out, wins 15-9. Now was down 7-1. Now it's 7-6.
Hold
Make
it
that
again.
still 7-6. just seems like when you're playing Paul Brady and he gets on a roll, can't do anything.
Yeah.
You just feel like, I mean,
Replay 6-7.
you feel like you can't score, but in reality, you can't score.
Yeah.
It's not just a feeling. It's not like if you tell yourself I'm going to score, it's going to
Point.
happen. It just doesn't happen when he gets into this mode. That's why when Nani had that 7-1 lead, you have to keep making his shots. And
7-7.
Yeah, it's easy to
he
say.
missed one, and look at what's happened since.
Point.
He's lost 7 straight points. Now, Dave, Paul Brady does not have to throw Nani Alvarado the ball there. He's not required in the rules to do that.
8-7.
That's right.
Yeah. That was a crazy shot from Paul.
Point.
Dave, it was I mean, would you call that a
A
windmill?
sidearm, kind of a John Bike left hand.
Paddle,
How John
yeah.
used to use his right to the
Right.
ceiling.
9, serving 7.
And he hit it perfect. Just buried it right in that left corner.
Yeah, it was a really cool shot.
We'll see Nadi appeal that serve. We'll see
Heel
Paul
of
appeal
serve.
the
I'm
serve.
calling it good.
I thought there was almost
Both agree with
contact
me.
back
So
there.
that's a side out.
I saw the ball over the line by about an inch or
Yeah.
so.
7,
but
serving 9.
Well, I knew the serve would be appealed by whoever lost that rally.
I don't know what Nadi's calling here.
Point.
Paul now is looking back, wondering what it was. Contact, possibly.
Okay.
This might be replayed here.
No, I don't think it will be.
Okay, both players call it. Both players want it over.
Okay.
7.
What was
All right.
the lifting of the hand for?
Maybe
though?
it hit Nadi's arm on the way in.
Maybe it slid.
Yeah, it could have been that as well.
Nadi saw it, flipped his arm up, and
Oh, okay, because he put his arm up because he recognized the slide there.
yeah, and I think that right there is the slide, and Nadi's hit it because the referee didn't call anything. He has to play through the ball.
Seven, 9.
You know, I've done that a couple times,
Side
Dave.
out.
I know you've done that too. And
Yeah.
when it happens, you're like,
9-7.
what in the world am I doing? This is not
Yeah.
even close
Yeah.
to what I was aiming for. What happens with your hand? You just
Short.
release early?
I think you kind of change your mind at the last second.
Second.
But even while you're taking the shot, you think you're doing everything perfect until
Yeah.
you see it hit the floor.
Point.
Then
I don't believe so.
Now 9 straight points for Paul Brady.
Ten, serving 7.
wow,
Point.
that's the double bounce. And, you know, Paul uses that sidewall
Timeout,
deep to
Nadi.
slow
That
the ball
is your
down.
first full timeout.
So then-
Score is 11-7.
Not only if he left it so it doesn't hit that sidewall, Dave, it just comes off the back wall. It's going to be almost impossible to get. But then it hits the sidewall and dies, and then it double bounces the back wall.
Well, it's a great serve. I mean,
Yeah, okay, we're going to have a glove change.
Referee calling for the glove. The big
Nadi,
NYAC
how you look?
Invitational
The other side?
banquet
You're good.
kicked off on what floor is that? 10?
that's the 24th floor right above us.
24.
Yeah.
That sounds like the solarium.
It is.
So we're on the roof?
Yep.
Wow.
By we, you mean you're going? That would be a first.
Yes, I'm going to jump off, actually. That's where I'll be later this evening. Both feet. Going to go feet first on that one. See how that works. See if I can just try to stick the landing, as they say. 11-7 here. Nadi was cruising.
And is that Larry David there? Just
Well, we'd have
to
to
Nadi's.
bring that
I know
camera.
that he's a handball fan, and
I know that he's
I
in,
heard
has a
that he-
play here right
Yeah.
now, just right across the street.
I heard he was in the building. We can see if we can just tilt that camera down just a little bit.
I'm just not so sure we could.
I think that is Larry.
It is
Yeah, that is Larry
it's Larry
David.
right?
Yeah. So it's,
It's official then.
I mean,
I think he's just writing comedy about the
yeah.
Amazing sport. No, I'm not quite seeing it. He looks like a really good ref. It was hard telling your father, who I thought for a second there was Larry David. It was
All right,
very tough
resuming
telling
play.
him to his face that he was the worst referee
Score
I've
is
ever had in my life
11-7.
in a
Well, I've
national
seen
final.
you tell 54 people that very same thing. So are they all tied for the worst? Because worst usually implies one person.
Gee, look at that.
Point.
So just to let that go.
That was a match that was
12-7.
won, and that's how bad it is when you win the match and you still.
Side out.
You hear Nani being encouraged by Danny Bell.
7, serving 12. Short.
Paul
Second.
Brady winning game number 1, 15-3. Trailed 7-1 here in game 2. Dave now, as you can see, leads 12-7. So he scored 11 straight points here. Nadi just
Side out.
cannot seem to thread the ball into the right corner, as he's made
12-7.
4 errors during this 11-point run, all trying to go into that right corner.
Wow.
Point.
13-7 now.
13-7.
Naughty
Oh, I saw a slide.
falling backwards
shoot
against the
straight
back
down,
wall
yeah.
there after returning that powerful serve from Brady.
It's just so hard to defend Paul's serve, because if you don't hit it in the perfect spot,
Replaying the last point, we have 13-7.
he's going to end the rally nearly every time. And just trying to return the serve
Short.
is very challenging onto itself.
Second.
Nope. I thought Naughty
Point.
was going to try to dive in there.
Match point, serving 7.
14-7. This is match. You heard it.
Replay.
Now,
And that'll leave a mark, Dave.
well,
that
that's
we'll
what
see
happens.
tomorrow.
You know, you wear those shorts like that, little tiny shorts, and you get stung a little bit.
Well, Dave, they're 8-inch shorts, and the traditional short is 9 inches. So they may seem tiny, but they're only an inch shorter than what you'd buy at the WPH store.
14, serving 7.
Took them out of the store when Abraham Montijo said they just don't look
Side
cool.
out.
So, not to be sensitive,
Yeah,
but
no,
if you're not in the store, I guess you haven't been there lately.
I'm actually
7,
not allowed in the
serving
store.
14.
That's true.
I think you remember telling me that, which is fine with me.
Oh, that ball was overhit. Paul's going to take it, though, and we might just see a side out because of it.
I thought the
Broken.
ball was broken. I thought it broke on the serve.
Oh, I thought it broke the last game.
Uh-huh.
I know you did, too. That ball had a loud crack. 7-14 here. Just when we said that, or I said that we haven't had a broken ball today, which we found so many yesterday, and then all of a sudden today, just night and day difference.
7-14. Short. Second.
Nice power there from Naughty. Little screen, not called from the ref.
Oh, I thought that was a screen.
I thought you knew where it was going. You saw it there, and then that's. I'm gonna call it a point. I'll try keep an eye on it, but I'm gonna call that a point for now, Paul.
Now you can keep an eye on this.
I'm
Next
calling
time, I'm
it
not
a
saying it was
point.
a bad call.
Right here.
I do think it was a screen.
Yeah, well, it have to be.
8-14.
I don't know where Paul ever even saw that other than the last fraction of a second.
Side
Paul
out.
just mouses that.
14-8. Side out.
He's staying alive now. He's fought off 2 match points. He's also been outscored 13-1 in the last 14 points.
Score is 8-14. Point.
And we've seen this, Dave, from Paul having a hard time closing out matches, needing 5 or 6 or 7 serves at match point before he can finally
9-14.
get the final point after needing just 2 or 3 service innings to get to 14. You remember against Luis Moreno, Dave, in Tucson, where Paul led 14-2 in the second game, and Luis came all the way back to 13. And it just looked like, wasn't anything like what we're used to
10-14.
seeing. And right now, Nadi's taking advantage. He's also hitting some really good shots.
Replay. Ten 14.
Nice dig there.
Frustrating there for
Side
Nadi.
out.
Could have closed the gap to 3, had 2 good opportunities to do so.
14, serving 10. Side out.
Now Paul Brady, Dave,
Right there, you're on it.
3 chances to close out this match. Been unsuccessful in all 3.
Taking a look at this replay here. Paul dives in, backhand fist.
Matt.
Nadi is just not saying goodbye for now.
Coming in. 10, 14. Short. Second. Side out.
Nadi's frustrated. Terrible second serve there.
Yeah.
14-10.
And now Paul goes to an underhand lob for the first time in this match on match point. Always strikes me as odd because when you're at match point, and that should do it.
Yeah, Nadi lifted his hands immediately, but the ref
It's too
didn't
late
see
for
it.
that.
I let it play, and since I let it play, I can't go back on. No, I can't. No.
No, it's the referee's call anyway.
Yeah,
No,
so
he
I
doesn't.
can't replay that. You want to give him, Paul? No, it's my. I can't ask the linesman. I can't ask the linesman, and I can't go to video. So Paul's giving it. Paul
Wow.
wants to. do it
Unbelievable. And a round of applause from the crowd here. Paul going to give a slide to Nadi Alvarado after the referee disagrees that he didn't see it. Referee's looking straight down on that
again.
spot.
Two serves. The score is
Paul-
14-10.
He always needs to know if it's first serve.
Yeah, well, he's
Oh, again.
a lot of
There we go.
silence
Two
here.
serves. 14-10.
I like that return. Wow.
Side out. Fix the doorknob, please. Thank you.
Unbelievable.
10-14. Short. Second.
Oh, and
Side
Nadi
is out.
misses a shot that he should make, and he had that 11th point in the bag. Now
14-10.
Paul Brady for the 6th time to win this match.
Short.
Boy, Nadi is just hanging really tough right now.
Well,
I
he's
mean,
just-
you have to give him the
I
award
do.
for
Second.
the grinder award. That pepper grinder that we give these players at the end of the tournament. And this could be it. Nope, Nadi digs it back out again. Nadi decided that he was going to go up
That's
and
the
over.
game. Good game, guys.
That was a hard-fought battle right there from Nadi Alvarado, and Paul Brady does it one more time. And Paul's shaking his head here saying, I don't know what happened here, but I think Paul Brady got a good workout. I know Nadi did too, but Dave, I'm telling you what, 15-3 in the first game looked like it was going to be fairly easy for Paul Brady, but Nadi just was not going away there in game number 2.
Nadi got off to a great start in game 2, and had he been able to continue what he was doing throughout the first half of that second game, we would have seen a tiebreaker, but just not able to continue converting those serves and corner kills, and just gave Paul enough of an opening where he was able to climb back into the game at one point, scoring 13 consecutive points to go from 1-7 to 14-7, and then it was Nadi Alvarado fighting off 6 match points before finally succumbing 15-10.
Let's go to Karamak courtside with Paul Brady.
Congratulations, fantastic win.
Thanks very much, Cara. Thank you.
You had that first game pretty easily, but then he came back in that second game, taking you 5-0 at the very start of it. What was going through your mind at that point, knowing, wow, he just came right back out and is handing this to me?
I kind of expected that. You know, I mean, he relaxed and started going for shots. So I just tried to stay relaxed. I think he went 7-1 up. And then I knew once I just kept trying to concentrate on each point. Then when I got level, I actually went 14-2 up, or 14-7 up. I went on a 13-point run, but I just couldn't finish it out. I kind of was getting a wee bit tight. The court getting a wee bit wet, but I just kept plugging away anyway, and thankfully I got the result.
And he did. He kept on grinding at you, trying to get those points and just kind of baby step it up to you. What was it that finally made it in the end? You were able to push it over?
Yeah, I just kept playing away. Nadi does that. He's probably most dangerous when he's coming from behind. Do you know what I mean? I suppose I'd be more a front runner. He's more of a, come from behind. He relaxes and he starts getting his serves in, and you know, he has nothing to lose there, so he's just going all out attack, and obviously that can be difficult to deal with, but I just try to stay relaxed and keep playing away, and that's it really.
How does it feel having this one behind you?
It feels good now. You know, this weekend there's been a lot of upsets, so I keep telling myself I don't want to be the next one. You know, it's been a long season, and it's actually the players who haven't been at that many tournaments that are winning. You know, they're causing all the upsets. So you can see the regular players are getting a wee bit tired. I'm starting to feel a wee bit tired myself, so I've got to watch that. You know, even after this weekend as I go forward. But for now, I'm just concentrating on the final and making sure that I'm not the next upset.
And as you say that, the next upset is going to be Andy Nett, who hasn't been playing all season long, to come in. He's mentioned that you are the best player that's ever been. And what do you think that he's going to come in thinking and wanting to do? Obviously to take you down, but is there some sort of, you think he's going to come in stronger than ever to do that?
Yeah, he's playing as good as ever. He's probably playing some local tournaments and, you know, keeping his eye on. He hasn't played that much this season, but like I say, he's fresh. A lot of the regulars seem to be a wee bit tired. So I've just got to, you know, his serve is really good. I've got to try and deal with that and just get my own serve going. It wasn't pretty hot there today. It was, you know, that's obviously Nadi was putting a lot of pressure on it. So, you know, tomorrow's a different day, a different game, a different opponent, and I've just got to adjust accordingly. And, you know, I just need to up my game a wee bit. You know, but I generally have done that in finals, and I'm hoping tomorrow will be no different.
You're always out here, you're never in the gallery, so you don't get to hear what people say in there about you and how they're wondering how you do it every single time. So I have 2 questions from 2 people who were out there, if you don't mind having some fun with us. So Ryan wants to know, how are you so good?
I suppose hard work and commitment and dedication. You know, it's like anyone who tries to be good at anything, you know, you've just got to make a lot of sacrifices, and I've made a lot over the years. And, you know, I've set my goals high. But I've put in the work, and you're going to get nothing but hard work.
Here's one from Mike. He wants to know, when it does happen, who do you think it's going to be? Anyone that you know right now who is going to take over number 1?
I'm not even considering that. I want to remain number 1, and I'm not. I'm sorry, Mike. I'm not answering that.
Hey, Mike.
I'm not answering that question. I'm determined to stay number 1, certainly for another while.
I like that answer. I also want to know, just as far as your life beyond handball, what do you do on your off time? What's your other jobs?
I am a teacher, so I teach resource teaching. It's like special ed. So I teach that from 9 to 3 every day, and then I just train around that. Lucky I've got a good boss who gives me a good principal who lets me go to the tournaments. But again, even within that, you have to make sacrifices. You know, I can't really take contracts because I've got to keep doing substitute work. So there's sacrifices that have to be made there too. So other than that, I just do what everyone else does. Just try to relax and enjoy life. Have those kids taught you anything? Certainly, I learn more from them than I could ever teach them. Every day, you know, I think of them sometimes. You know, I might think of some kid on a flight here and think, you know how they inspire me. So all the time I'm learning from them. I've had this question, given it to many players today, so I'm going to give it to you because a couple people want to know how you would answer. If you were in a movie and it was a movie about you, who would play you? Who would play me? I can't think of that. Maybe Schwarzenegger. Oh, nice. All right. I like that. Thank you so much, Paul. Good luck tomorrow. Thanks for back to you guys. He'll be back.
Yeah, no, yeah. I hope you are also back too. Get in the choppa.
Thanks.
Well, I guess it's hasta la vista for us as we say goodbye here tonight. Dave, Paul showing a little bit of the other side of Paul Brady, but I think he was ran around a little bit by Nadia Alvarado, and you can see he was huffing and puffing, also saying not very happy with his serves. His legs seemed to kind of start giving out a little bit toward the end there. He wasn't getting his serve across, and I kind of felt that Paul was getting kind of vulnerable there toward the end. Well, he might set up for an interesting final tomorrow between Andy Nett and Paul Brady.
Paul very humbly said that, he's been able to elevate his game in finals. His 2 losses in the last 11 years were both in the quarterfinals, so he has not lost in the finals since 2004, and that was at the Nationals. or that was not in the finals either. So it was in that
was a
Alaska
run- yeah.
shootout in 2004. So we're going on 11 years that he's undefeated in finals. Won
Yeah.
every final he's played.
Hard to fathom all that. We're going to say goodnight for now, Dave, and really thank the group that has put this all together at the NYAC. Chris Grad, Linda Manning, Jeff Kastner, Gene Kazumoto. I know I'm missing some people. Lolita De Vincent, Dave Fink here. Those that have helped in the broadcast booth, but also just, doing what they do. We want to say thanks. And those that are watching here on ESPN, we'll be back tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock Eastern Time, and we'll have more handball coverage. It'll be Finals Sunday here with the World Players of Handball, Edel Handball, New York Athletic Club, and ESPN. You have a good night.